probably, I know that I've participated in the interviews, and I'm a newer member, so I'm sure probably most everybody here has done so. We will be looking for people to interview again this year shortly, because how the process gets started is, as Charlie was explaining, is we contact the schools and we ask them to reach out to the students who are coming into their junior year who are C-level students with the intention of helping them improve during the last 2 years of their schooling. One of the saddest things that we see, and again, you are talking about 16-year-old kids, so they aren't necessarily very focused on school yet at that point, is we really kind of go to the counselors, and I know Charlie has done this for years, and get them to get people, and the counselors go out and beg the students to apply. So I think people are usually most surprised when they go to do the interviews that we don't have more students applying at each of the schools, and that's something that we've talked about, trying to come up with ways to encourage more applications. But as Charlie has said, the schools keep telling us that it's hard to even get the kids to graduate right now, which is kind of hard to believe in 2009 that people are still debating whether or not they need a high school education. So when we go out and we talk to the students, they have to complete a scholarship form ahead of time. And again, for those of you who have done the interviews before, this is probably somewhat repetitive, but if you just kind of want to refresh yourselves with the types of things that we're considering, are applicants who have a great financial need, maybe some folks who might need a bigger social network, or some people who could help support them in the community, and trying to raise some self-esteem. So personal example of mine is I interviewed the 2 Wood River students who actually just graduated this year, and we all know that Betty went on to actually had a baby, but did go on and graduate, and I can tell you that was, the baby part was probably not so much of a surprise when I went in to interview her. She's a very good little girl, but part of the process when we were interviewing her, she was working 35 hours a week as a 16-year-old kid, going to school full-time, carrying a full load, and her whole goal in life was to be able to move out as soon as she turned 18, because she just didn't have a very good home life there. And when we came to trying to pick the students that year, I know that we had a lot of difficulty weighing, what's the goals and intentions of this program, and that's one of the things we took into consideration, was that she was probably a very at-risk student, potentially, even though she was obviously intelligent and responsible, the fact that she could carry this job. So I have to say, I'm very excited to see that she, continued in school, had the baby. Charlie's got a great picture of her up here with the little baby. And if you were here the day the students came, she's planning on hopefully attending the, I can't pronounce it, the cooking school that they've opened up in St. Louis, La Culinaire, I never took French. So that is something that we very much consider. So I'll pass this around too. This is an example of the form that we use just to kind of take notes on each of the students when we're interviewing them. And that's a hard thing, because you will have some students who come in and apply, but maybe, for our economic area, their parents make quite a bit of money, and, it's kind of sad to say, but if they come from like a two-family, a 2-parent home, you're almost have a tendency not to support them, because we're trying to find the students who need that additional support. So it's kind of it's a good process, and I can say that it's rewarding now, having seen Betty go through the whole process and graduate. I do have a handout here. As Charlie mentioned, we did increase the amounts that the students are able to earn. So this one I actually have for everybody, how we keep track of this as the students are going through the program. Maybe I'll just start some down each table here. And one of the changes that we made last year is, you'll see at the bottom of the form, they get an event attendance bonus. And that is something that we made a big change to. We've had in the past, if the students had attended 5 of our events over the 2 years, they could earn $300. And so what we changed it to last year is they would actually get $100 per event that they attended, because I guess historically the students were not getting the 5 over 3 years, and that can happen for various reasons. Maybe we haven't been in as close a contact with them, but obviously part of it's easy money because they get $100 for coming like when they did last time. So that's been something to encourage them along. But you'll see that the main emphasis, as far as with the academics, that through their junior year and their senior year, their opportunity to earn more funds increases each semester over the 2 years if they are on honor roll or high honor roll. So that's one of the things that we are emphasizing, is trying to raise these students from C students up to honor roll students. And I guess historically we've had quite a few students who have done that. Charlie probably knows a little bit more than I do with that, but. And again, we also are rewarding them for unexcused absences. So I know that I just got the information for the students from Wood River, and our junior, Jason, he's not made it to the honor roll yet, but we'll keep encouraging him on that. But he has had 2 semesters of unexcused absences. So, you know, he's active in sports, and that might be something that he would do anyway, but he definitely has that extra emphasis to be there attending school because he's earning funds by doing that. But you'll see that they get a base amount of $400 for completing their junior year, and another $400 for completing their senior year. So just by being selected and graduating high school, they'll receive $800. So it's a nice program. And we did, I know that recently we've had, you know, as everyone in the world has had economic difficulties, but that increase up to $3,000, when you consider the cost of tuition, I mean, and we luckily have SIU Edwardsville here in our backyards, which is probably one of the most reasonably priced state schools in the country. You can rent your books, all these types of things, but still, even at that, you know, you're talking well in excess of $3,000 for a student to attend out there in a year. Even Lewis and Clark and the local community colleges now, by the time you pay per credit hour and buy the books, it's pretty expensive. So, does anybody have any questions about how we score that or tabulate the amounts for the scholarships? Anybody want to volunteer now to do interviews this year? Oh, look.
I'll do Wood River again. I don't want to do Roxanna. My kids go to school there, so.
Okay.
Well, they won't allow you there.
Well, if my son's in that line, I'm going to slap him around. That's fine. I know some of the friends. I
That's a
feel
good
kind of
question.
feel
Is
kind
there
of
anybody
strange.
here that has not ever interviewed? I bet everybody here has. Or they're not going to admit if they haven't right now. Put on the spot. Okay. Oh, that's true. Charlie was just pointing out to me the community events that we've done in the past, that we have the students come to, that they can earn the money from helping out at, are the golf tournament, of course the soapbox derby, the chili dinner, the parade, when we do the Halloween parade, the Salvation Army bell ringing, and then the basketball tournament. And then they do get for coming to our meetings. So if we actually had a student who wanted to hang out with us all the time, I guess they could earn all their money that way by just coming to lunch, but we haven't had one of those yet. So. Okay.